everybody. This is Matt and Rob back with the Water We Drinking podcast. Today, we're joined by the Epic Athletes team captain, AJ Lawson. Hey, AJ, how's it going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm stoked to be here.
Stoked to have you. AJ, so as Rob mentioned, you are team captain of the Epic Athletes. We'd love if you could take us through the story of uh, how you found out about Epic water filters. We know it's kind of a cool story. I think it's worth sharing.
Sure. Yeah. I was in Boulder, Colorado, where y'all are based, and I went into a store just off Pearl Street. I was just walking around and I saw y'all's water bottles for sale. And it had a filter in it, and it was kind of something that I always wanted just from traveling around and I was like, oh, this sounds like a really cool thing. I always carry water bottles, but to have a filter in it sounds like a really added or necessary thing to have. So I just bought a water bottle and was using it. And then I posted a video of myself mountain boarding at a bike park in Golden, Colorado, and drinking from that water bottle, like a small clip, like a 2 second clip. And I think it was I think someone, Matt, I think
Yeah,
you maybe
I saw it.
saw it on your personal TikTok.
Mhm.
You were like scrolling through and it popped up. And then you reached out over Instagram about working together, and I was already liked the product, so I was like, yeah, sure, that'd be great to do something. So
Yeah,
I guess it was pretty organic as it could be. I don't know.
it's about as
Yeah.
organic as they come. I remember seeing that clip and I had to like rewind the video a few times. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, that is for sure our water bottle. Like this dude has our water bottle. Um, And that was a sick video of you mountain boarding. So yeah, we kind of put two and two together. Rob could talk a little bit more about that could segue us into the athlete team. That was kind of like the start of the Epic Athletes.
Yeah, we always wanted to have an athlete program since there's so many other brands out there, like energy drink brands, particularly that have their own athlete programs. And we thought that was a cool idea, but not every athlete likes to drink sugary energy drinks, but every athlete does need water, which is kind of why we thought starting our own athlete program would be pretty cool. And AJ, you've been killing it. Obviously, you create tons of cool content for us, and you're always going to new events and competitions and stuff like that, and competing on behalf of Epic Water Filters. Have you had any favorite competitions that you've done this year or in the past couple of years since you've started working with Epic?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think. I did a snowboarding event in Netherlands that was like a 13-year-old kid's birthday party, or 12-year or whatever he was. Like, I think whatever. And that was cool. That was like the coolest birthday party I've ever been to.
Did you
That
win?
was Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And that was but it was like at a brewery, and it was this kid, his name's Summit, and his dad just like wanted to do like a snowboarding event for his birthday party. Um so it was cool. It was a cool kind of like grassroots event where they had like a drop in and a couple rails and whatever. Um, so that was really fun. I kept saying, like, if your birthday party's not like this, I'm not going to it. You know. Um, and that was really fun. I'm trying to think other.
Didn't
I
you
guess
do a rail jam not that long ago? Something along those lines.
yeah, that was in December maybe, or January.
Hard
Did
to
you
keep
win that?
track.
Hmm.
Did you win that?
Yeah, that was the one. The summits. I forgot what it was. Oh, Pretty Chilled Rail Jam.
Oh, cool.
The PC Rail Jam. Um, but that was cool. It was cool to see that, and just, people that like wanted to do an event and get people together, and um, that was fun to be a part of. And people were just soaking each other up, or hyping each other up, and to land stuff. So it was fairly approachable. It was a cool setup. I wish they were talking about doing, like a snowboard park in Netherlands, like maybe a free snowboard park, or very really cheap one with a rope tow. So it was kind of like maybe the birth of that idea. Snowboarding's pretty expensive, and I think the idea of having free snowboard parks, kind of like skate parks, is becoming um is kind of being birthed right now. There's a few in the world, maybe. There's one in Denver called Ruby Hill, which I ride a lot. So everywhere else kind of wants that now, and there was a big talk about that. So, hopefully that kind of pushes for that to be built.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of other. I did a couple like just here and there, but I can't. That one stood out the most, I think.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you've also joined us at other events that weren't necessarily snowboarding related.
Mm-hmm.
To a couple of the Epic water filters, trash cleanups.
Mm-hmm.
Always awesome. Good to see that our athletes respect the environment and want to help keep it clean.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that y'all do that. And I was surprised how much trash we found. Like, really. Like,
Yeah.
I went to one in Boulder, and I think of Boulder being fairly eco-friendly and a clean place. And then once you start to like look around for trash and stuff, and it's wild to see like what people just toss away, or what gets,
For sure.
in our, like, in the Boulder Creek. Because I love, in the summer, I love swimming in the Boulder Creek. Like, it feels so good. And then I love like going to swim and then skate and just be outside in Boulder, and do fun stuff there. And so to pick up trash on Boulder Creek, and then like, oh man, this is a lot dirtier than I expected, was really eye-opening. So I want to do more of that. Like, I want to do one in Denver.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about it, but it would be cool to do more of that, because it's nice to. I enjoy the outdoors, and I don't want there to be a bunch of like trash or whatever while I'm enjoying all that. So
Do you find that while you're snowboarding or even mountain boarding that like trash is around, or do you think those areas are pretty well kept?
it depends. It depends for sure. I'm trying to think of, like, I don't know if you can put this in the podcast. You might have to cut this one out, but I was riding at Ruby Hill. Um, Ruby Hill has the snowboard park and has the bike park, but also has these like just grass, hills that are good to like ride down or whatever. And my friend found like a crack pipe, like double barrel crack pipe. I had like a photo of it,
Damn.
like just in like between some trees or whatever. That's more of like a city park. So in some ways, I kind of not super surprised, like more of an urban area.
Yeah.
Seems like there's more litter. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like, of times that stand out that maybe I was more in the wilderness, if I've seen anything.
Like
Sure,
love.
I think the
Mm,
time that you and Johnny had joined us at the trash cleanup in Boulder, I'm pretty sure you
mm-hmm.
guys found like an entire bicycle, but you only found like pieces. I could be confusing that with another trash cleanup, but I know there's one time that we pulled an entire bike out of the creek, but it was like piece by piece. Like first we found the handlebars, then we found the seat, and then a tire, and eventually we had an entire bicycle.
Sounds like a crime scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy what you find. I remember finding like, I think it was like an industrial whisk or something, like some kitchen supplies, like huge stuff, you know?
And you really
And I was,
think, like, how does that even get into the creek?
yeah, yeah. How does it get into the creek? How does it get in? Um, I don't know. I've always like, even since I've been young, I would like pick up trash when I was at places and, um, like go out of my way for it. That was kind of like, if it was somewhere, especially I was like, I don't know, outside doing something, I would try to do like a cleanup. And I just, I don't want to swim in filth.
Yeah.
So I would do it just to do it, I guess. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, I get sometimes stuff happens, whatever, but I try to be pretty aware of what I'm bringing in and bringing out of the outdoors. I think most people do probably. So hopefully we're just seeing like a small percentage of it.
Mhm. Um, do you think your role as an athlete has helped with promoting environmental sustainability or awareness in any way? Like, do you talk to more people about keeping the environment clean when you're talking to them about snowboarding or mountain boarding?
Um,
Or does it not come up very often because you're just kind of there enjoying your sports and you don't typically see a lot of trash? Could be either or.
yeah. No, I think it's interconnected. I think it's shaped a lot of how I look at life and the impact I've wanted to have on what I do. A lot of it does create waste or create, like an imprint, and just being aware of that, not wanting and trying to cut down or trying to do my best to have less of an impact.
Mhm.
Super important. Some things are tough. Some things are kind of out of our hands, and a person can only do so much. But that's definitely shaped how I look at things and how I approach things. And uh, I'm sure that comes up more, more naturally than I'm aware of. Like I like, forever I was always like, oh yeah, you should just carry a water bottle with you, and big advocate for that. And you don't need to like have single use plastic water bottles like that. Even when I was younger, I was like, that seems so wasteful,
Yeah.
you know?
Are you still vegan?
Mhm.
Can you talk a little about like your transition to becoming a vegan, and was it for like environmental reasons or anything behind that?
Yeah, sure. We can talk about that. So uh, this is a while ago, I guess. You know, cared about the environment, about snow quality, about, snowboarding was super important in my life and still is. And uh, I worried about climate change and what I could do to make an impact personally. And I remember seeing something in the news from the UN Farm and Agriculture Organization that said factory farming was the number one cause of carbon emissions, contributing to climate change in the world. And, maybe there, if you cut out your consumption or limit your consumption of animal products, that could um, help reduce that impact on a personal level. So I wanted to just try it for like a few weeks, and like, I don't know, I was going to stop eating meat for like 2 weeks and see how that went. Um, and then it just went from, that to really just over a period of time, just cutting like all animal products out of my diet. And that was kind of a slow process. Like first it was like, oh, I'm not really going to eat meat, but like, I would eat dairy or other animal products. And then, certain some of those were like health things. Like I think dairy didn't make me feel good. Like drinking milk just didn't make me feel good. So
Yeah.
when I found alternatives to that, I was like, oh, I can drink this milk and not feel sick or whatever. So
Have you,
that mm-hmm.
sorry, have you found that your performance or just like your overall well-being, like do you feel better eating this way or having changed your diet?
I think so. Yeah, it would be. I always do want to kind of compare. Like, I wish I could do like tests. But the idea of like eating animals, like even to test it would be kind of weird for me now. Like it would,
Yeah.
you know. But I think so. Maybe there's some sort of longevity to it. Like I've been doing this for a long time, and I still feel like I'm in some ways getting better, you know, and um, and just being aware of eating in a different way or having sort of a different impact. Um, so I don't know. I hope so. It kind of now it's I don't look at like a cow as food the same way like you might not look at a dog as food,
Yeah.
you know. So that's sort of, it would be like, oh, would you eat dog meat again if you were
Yeah.
eating dog meat? You might be like, I don't know if that if I feel comfortable with it. I don't think of it as food, maybe, or person. I don't know.
It's like
Yeah.
so far gone that you don't even think about it anymore.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I maybe it helps. Maybe it'd be interesting to like, it was funny. Like one time I got like a blood test at a doctor just to see like if my health was okay. And the lady, this was a while ago. She was like, "You're gonna live to be like 120."
Damn.
And I was like, "Damn, that's way too long. Like, I don't, I might start smoking cigarettes or something, like doing like that. This much, like that's a lot longer, man. Like, I don't know if I can, you know,
That's too long.
How
that's too
many
long."
how many years have you been vegan? Do you know off the top of your head?
I Man, I'd have to look at dates. It's I started being like vegetarian, I would say, in like 2007 or 8, and then probably half of that time, it like, again, it was like slowly, like I wouldn't have milk or wouldn't eat eggs or whatever. So it's probably been vegan since 2015 or 16 or something like that. Um so
So
yeah, it's been a while, I
yeah,
guess.
that's a pretty good amount of time. Um,
Mhm.
and you also started your own vegan food company. If you want to tell our listeners about that really quick.
Sure, I'd love to tell them about that. So it's called New Food. I make snack foods that are vegan. Our primary product is popcorn. I also do like a vegan plant-based queso that's potato and carrot base. And these were just products that I wanted to buy that I didn't see. We started with this like nutritional yeast popcorn that I was making all the time at home. And I wanted to be able to go to a store and grab a bag when didn't have time to make it. And I couldn't find it anywhere. No one was making it. So I just decided to start doing it myself, and then just giving it away and giving it to friends and stuff. And then I was like, I've always wanted to have my own my own thing to work on. And and I was like, if no one else is going to do this, then I'll do it, and started selling it. And um that's actually been going in a pretty good direction right now. Like I'm really excited about where that's going, and the future of that. And um it's really interesting because it wasn't like I wasn't like a business person. I've never worked in food before. And it's just something that I wanted. And I think if you want something bad enough, then make it happen. So so yeah, I hope to see that keep growing and make more like snack products that are unique and have some nutritional value to them. The nutritional yeast is like super good for you. It has a lot of B vitamins and I eat it every day. I love it. I could eat it by the spoonful. So,
Do
you
you
know,
have any new snacks that you're working on, or any new extensions to your product line?
I have I've worked on like different popcorn flavors. Um, but nothing I'm ready to release right now. I wanted to do there's a couple things, but um nothing that I would sell just yet, you know. And it was really like I want it to be something that I think is different and you can't find and you know, and that's always kind of been my goal. Like I think there is something like I have learned that some of the classics, like I did just like a salt flavored popcorn, and that is like really good, and I do appreciate it. And but I always wanted to have it be different in some kind of way.
Yeah. So what are the flavors of your popcorn?
So I do a nutritional yeast one. The Nooch one is slang for that. I do a churro, the cinnamon sugar. I do a curry one. We call it kettle curry because it's like a sweet yellow Thai curry. And that's all like made from scratch. And and uh and yeah, so that's I want to do some more savory flavors though. I think that's like I like sweet things a lot, but just having like a savory flavor would be good. And I have ideas for that, but you know.
Have you found it hard to be a business owner?
Yeah, sometimes for sure. Like sometimes I'm like I don't want to do this.
Hmm.
Like there's just certain aspects of it where, you know, I wish I could just focus on one thing or the other.
Hmm.
Um but yeah, you know, I don't think it's for everyone. It's not even like an intelligence thing. It's not, it's just, you know, having tenacity to
Yeah.
to push through certain things and just believe in it and deal with stuff that no one else wants to do really just because, you know, I like a lot of the community. Like Colorado has a great natural food community and even like vegan food community stuff I love that I've discovered that I'm a huge fan of, that I love being around and being a part of and being friends with. Um, that same kind of feeling of like when someone first gets into like skateboarding or whatever new thing and they start meeting people that have common interests and you're like, oh, you're really cool. You have a cool story and I like how what you do. And um, there's that with the food world. And so I just enjoy it and being a part of it. And that pushes me through a lot of times. But man, there's sometimes I'm like, dude, I don't.
Yeah.
This is so hard and this is miserable and like, you know. But once I can push past that and there's times where I'm just like enjoying it and loving it. Like I like. There's times I'm in my kitchen. I make it in a commercial kitchen space and I just enjoy it. I just make something with my hands and it's like, you know, and when it tastes great, you know, sometimes we whip up like queso and the batch just tastes really good for some reason. Like, I'm like, man, this one's hitting.
Yeah.
This one, we did this one. You know, somebody put their foot in this, as my folks from the South will say. Um, and that feels great. That feels, you know, like a awesome achievement. You know, the same as landing a trick or whatever. And so there are times where I love it and enjoy it and it's really fun and creative. But there's definitely times where I'm like, you know, if I didn't have to decide everything, that would be great, you know. Because right now it's just me. I have a friend that I pay, it helps me out, but primarily it's just me and it's a lot, you know. It can be it takes a unique person, I think, to do it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Um, you just mentioned how it feels similar to landing a trick for the first time or something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite snowboarding trick or mountain boarding trick?
I don't know. That's tough to say. My favorite.
or one that you think is like your signature move or the you're best at?
Yeah, I don't, man. Um, I think on a snowboard, doing like nose presses, like doing presses on the board, like doing kind of like I don't know how many people follow snowboarding, but doing kind of like a manual on a rail or a feature. Uh, I like those a lot. I think those are kind of underrated, and I like when I do a good press,
Mhm.
um, whatever that looks like. With mountain boarding, I don't know, like a good 360 any grab off a jump, just something simple, you know. If I can get like a really good, like looks really good, really controlled. Um, a lot of it lately has been just doing like cool lines and finding, unique, maybe more like free riding and and using using the wilderness in a cool way, maybe like how climbers approach things, how they do a cool route.
Yeah.
Uh, that for me, mountain boarding, that's what I like about mountain boarding a lot is going riding off road and riding in cool lines. Um, that's kind of my favorite thing, but
On a, I don't think mountain boarding is kind of a unique sport. Are you able to explain more so like what it is and how you got into it?
sure, definitely. So mountain boarding involves a board that is looks kind of like a downhill or looks kind of like a off-road, maybe longboard, downhill skateboard. Has bindings for the most part, and people ride on various terrains, including, dirt and grass and rocks and gravel and pavement, and it kind of has like an all-terrain aspect to it. Um, that's what really drew me to mountain boarding, that people were riding, you know, all kind of terrains, and they were doing tricks like snowboarders or skaters were doing, and hitting like dirt jumps. And um, so I came from like a skate and snowboard background. I grew up in West Virginia, where there weren't a lot of places to skateboard, and the snowboarding season was pretty short. So, I looked at when I saw a video of someone doing carves and hitting dirt jumps on a mountain board, it connected with me a lot. I've been doing it for a long time. It's a pretty small sport, and when I moved to Colorado, I took a break from it because I was doing other things, and then I moved to Colorado and found all these like bike parks and all these really cool places to mountain board. So I got really into it again, and it's been awesome. There's kind of an endless amount of places to ride here, and one can really, there's places I still haven't gone to that I really want to, but a lot of it's just being able to, like, I don't know, ride a board places people haven't been to. I look at it like, water has the surfing, snow has snowboarding, skateboarding is like asphalt, and then like dirt is is like that untouched place boards, but mountain boarding kind of answers that, or fills in that space.
For sure. So AJ, as an athlete, we talked earlier how you were attracted to the fact that the water bottles had a built-in water filter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you find that clean water is important to you and that's something that you care about to have in your lifestyle?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, especially traveling and not knowing where the water is coming from is can be a little scary sometimes, right? I don't I don't know too much about the science of things. But you know, I've seen stuff in the news like, I mean, pretty recently we talked about like forever chemicals like PFAS,
Yeah.
PFAS, whatever.
Yep.
That was in the U.S. It's like way too high. Like there was some news report saying, oh, this is, you know, the amount that PFAS in just normal tap water is way too high. So, uh, you know, that I think there's enough to be like concerned and want to have better quality. So just having something that makes me feel peace of mind when drinking water wherever. I went to Europe like a couple winters ago, and I remember just like using the Epic bottle and like getting tap water, and these people, I was staying at like a hostel, and they're like, "Oh, is this like drinkable water?" You know, and I was like, "Oh, I have a filter, so it's like I could, you know, I could drink like you're supposed to drink out of a puddle,
Yeah.
and it'd be fine."
Flexing.
Yeah, a little bit of flex. Like, yeah, no, I'm cool.
But you're not.
Yeah, so that just makes my life a lot easier, and I don't have to worry. And I have heard like when you travel, sometimes people drink bottled water because maybe you're not accustomed to drinking that local tap water, and it can kind of make you sick.
One of
So
one of the main like reasons the business was started in general was because of plastic pollution through bottled water.
mhm.
And Ash, one of our or the founder, after doing research, we found people buy bottled water mainly for convenience and because they don't trust the tap water.
Right.
So just
Yeah.
having access to filtered water all the time mitigates the need to buy a single-use plastic bottle.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how I felt. And you know, if if I got lucky and there's like a water fountain nearby, like water fountains can be like pretty dirty, I think.
Super dirty.
You know. Yeah, or see, it feels like that, right? Like like maybe if I'm like at a skate park or like out in public and you get access to like a water fountain and it's like just been outside and covered in just like whatever, someone put their whole mouth on it, or you know, I don't know. You just never know, right? Like
Yeah.
people get weird.
Yep.
And I don't know. I care about cleanliness and, you know, what I put in my body, and so that was important to me. And that's, you know, when I saw a water bottle with a filter in it, I was like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. Like, you know, we've come so far.
Yeah.
Scientists.
And you kill two birds with one stone. You get clean water and you're reducing the amount of single-use plastics you're using. So
Yeah, absolutely.
win-win no matter which way you look at it.
Yeah. So it, you know, it makes a lot of sense for me. Yeah.
So you mentioned PFAs. Would you say those are the contaminant you're most concerned about just because they're kind of all over the news right now?
I don't know what would most concern me. That was the most recent thing that stood out,
Mhm.
that could be harmful to our health, you know. I
Yeah.
think a lot of it's just it seems like we've done a lot of harm, sometimes, you know, maliciously, or sometimes just out of negligence on our natural world. and I just know enough to like want to have better.
Yeah.
So that was something that just stood out, where I'd been drinking out of Epic water filters for a bit, and I was like, oh, they're supposed to filter this out, so this is great. Like I don't feel as worried,
Mhm.
you know. Like I feel like I'm kind of covered.
Even if there is something new that pops up that people realize, oh, we've been drinking this for the past 30 years or something, you'll kind of have that peace of mind like, oh, I'll be fine. I've been using a water filter, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. And then I can get water from kind of anywhere again. And because I carry a water bottle with me everywhere. I have the pitcher when I'm at home. So really it's very, very rarely am I not like drinking filtered water. Um even sometimes in restaurants I'll have a water bottle because I'd rather just have it, you know. Um so yeah, it's great. It's super great to have. And then, some of it too, like I've been snowboarding and not at a resort or something, and I've put snow in it and drank out of that. Or even outdoors like mountain boarding, maybe in more of a free ride zone, and drank stream or like creek water, stream water or whatever. So there's so much. I mean, it's such like a useful thing for me that it really fits my life a lot. And it's something I'd rather promote, as an athlete. I'd rather promote to especially someone who's younger who, I'd rather, hey, maybe you should drink water primarily.
Yeah.
Especially being active. That should be your primary source of liquid instead of something that's super gnarly and not good for you. And
Red
Yeah.
Bull.
Soda.
yeah, sure, any energy drink
Yeah.
for the most part, like soda, because that's a lot of those beverage companies. That's where a lot of the money in action sports is coming from. And they do some cool things sometimes. Like, I didn't know what Red Bull was. Like, I'm like, oh wow, they do this cool event or do whatever. But the product is not something that I would consume at all, or
Yeah.
so that's kind of tough. So it is way better to be like, oh, like, I would rather someone have a water bottle and promote that, and especially filter your water. And I think health and um environmentalism are important for longevity and things I would rather promote.
Yeah. There's so many scary things in our water that we don't even realize. And we drink it
Sure.
every day.
Sure.
And anyone
Yeah.
who says their tap water is safe to drink relatively is correct, but there's so many micro contaminants that build up in your body over time that like you just don't want.
Might be safe
Yeah.
to drink today, but when you drink it every day for your entire life, those small amounts of chemicals or contaminants that are in the drinking water can definitely add up. And who knows if the water we're drinking today will be considered safe in 5 to 10 years from now. And not really worth the risk, in my opinion. And I'm sure a lot of other people kind of agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know what will be the next like leaded gas
Mhm.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not to like try to scare people and like, but I think there's enough credible things where I can be like, well, I should be aware of this and maybe want better, and this is important to me, whatever that looks like. So
And filtering your water is so simple and it's honestly relatively cheap when you really think about it, no matter what
mhm.
brand you go with. It's just something that's like, why are you not doing this?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Totally.
Um, all right, so we're getting near the end of our time, but we always kind of ask our guests this one last question. We always kind of wrap up with what's one thing that you would tell a younger version of yourself today?
Oh man. What's one thing I would tell
Young
a
AJ.
young how young?
Young. Like a
Like,
young, aspiring elementary school AJ.
oh wow. Damn. Really introspective. Dude, there's so many things, I guess. I did that. It's hard to not say like a really cliche answer in a lot of ways, because
Everyone does, so
everyone does. And um you know, there's a lot of things that, you know, I'm just learning now in life too, you know. Oh man.
For our listeners, could you tell everyone how old you are, if you mind sharing that?
I'm 36.
36.
Yeah. So, you know, thinking of someone
think of like
30,
10-year-old AJ. What would you tell him?
yeah, 20, yeah. I guess you know, the biggest thing is like, this is going to be kind of cliche, but just don't be afraid to like take big risks and go for something you love or believe in, because, you know, time goes so quickly. It really does. I think when one's a little kid, that it feels like it takes forever to do things, to grow up, to whatever that looks like. And, you know, really, like, I look back at things that happened 5 or 10 years ago, and I'm like, man, I can't believe that was that long ago.
Yeah.
And you know, things can kind of like happen really quickly. And so really just spending your time doing things you love and are passionate about as much as possible, and creating your own happiness, whatever that looks like. You know, that you don't have to live for anyone else. No one knows what they're doing. You know, I wouldn't want a lot of people's lives, even if it meant like security,
Yeah.
um, or something safe, because I don't think it'd be fulfilling. I'd rather do something different, or something I care about or believe in, and look back and said I did everything I could, and I enjoyed a lot of it, and that was fun, and I like really went out to the world and lived, than do something that, like, you know, that I was thought I should do because society says I could do that. Um, I think a lot of my life is kind of like probably alternative to a lot of people in a lot of ways. Like, um, and sometimes that can be like lonely, I guess, or hard to connect with people. But, you know, the people that get it, it's awesome. It's cool to like connect with those communities, and know that you're pursuing something that's just not for everyone. But if it's something you care about and you really want and you're passionate about, then I think it's like super worth it, you know? So, um, so yeah, I think that would be just pursue your dreams and go for it all in,
For
you
sure.
know, take those risks. I think, I don't know. There's always time to learn and figure stuff out later, and change your mind if you need to, if you want to, but certain things aren't forever. And if you have a cool opportunity, like, go for it, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what other people said, but that would
Kind of
be
along those lines, but
yeah. You always hear that from like successful people, is like they went all in, and whatever that was. They didn't, you know, anyone I kind of look up to, it's like, yeah, you know, they do crazy things
yeah,
to make things happen, right? So
as you should. Life's so short, you should find a way to take your passion and make it like a reality, make it a job, make it something you wake up every day and do.
absolutely, you know, and I think that can, like I said, it can change from time to time, but yeah, I'd much rather spend my time doing all that. All the time I've spent snowboarding, or mountain boarding, or, you know, doing anything that I've been interested in, it doesn't feel like a waste at all. I can look back and be like, man, like I'm so glad, like I can't believe, I got to do some of these things or live and, you know,
Yeah.
so all that just seems so worth it.
Yeah, gotta
Yeah.
do what makes you happy.
Thank you, AJ. It was super nice to have you on the podcast. You're always super fun and funny to talk to. So we appreciate having you. We love that you're on the athlete team, and we hope we can do more cool things together in the future.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. This was awesome. I love being on and working with y'all, and look forward to many, many more years of it. So,
Sweet.
Cool.
yeah.
Thanks, AJ.
Thank you.